Redemption Song.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We're forward in this generation, triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs.
Welcome to Gotham Music Schools. So we're going to look at Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers, a beautiful track, well worth learning, and this is from the Rockschool Grade 1 acoustic book. Okay, let's start with the introduction. Okay, so for the introduction, we're not playing chords, we're playing individual pick notes, so we need to be really accurate and careful with what we're playing. This is such a recognisable and iconic introduction that if you make a mistake, it is just obvious straight away. It's got to be perfect. So we're starting with our second finger here up on the top string on the 3rd fret before playing the A string, open, and then on the 2nd fret, and then back to that note, the G note there on the top string. So we've got our first 4 notes, which should sound a bit like that. Then we're going to take our second finger down onto the 5th string, that A string again, and play the 3rd fret before playing the 2nd fret on our D string, and then open, and then back to our 5th string again here on the 2nd fret. So we've now got okay. Before our next 4 notes, which is our 3rd bar, we're going to play again up here on the 6th string to start with, on the 3rd fret. So 3rd fret here, open string on the 5th string, 2nd fret, open string on the 4th. For our little rundown, our last 4 notes, 3rd fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret, open string, 3rd fret on that top E string again, that G note. So we have okay, which, as I said, is a really cool sounding introduction. Accuracy, really important. Make sure you're picking just that single string to get a really clear sound on that introduction. Take your time on this one. Nice and slow is fine, and then just speed up when you get used to it. And then when you've got used to that, have a look at the next section, which is the verse, and a look at the chords and the strum pattern we need to use. Alright, so if you are now on the verse section looking at the chords, that means that you've got the introduction pretty much under your fingers, so congratulations with that, because that's a tricky little thing to play. Now, the chords we need here are the G, the E minor, the C, the A minor, and a D. And they just kind of basically repeat throughout. But let's take a quick look at those chords. So the G chord, for most of the song we can get away with playing a kind of beginner version, which is just your 3rd finger down here on the 1st string, 3rd fret, and we're just going to play 4 strings. However, we do need to play the full version at the end, and it's a good idea just to use a full version of the chords all the time anyway, so you're getting lots of practice of them. So we also need our second finger up on the top string here on the 3rd fret, and then our first finger on the 5th string on the 2nd fret. So it will sound like this. And that's the G chord. The next chord is the E minor chord. Now for this one, we can keep the first finger where it is there on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then just add our second finger below it, and that'll give us our E minor chord. Again, with this chord, you're really only playing the first 4 strings. So we're not getting these 2 bass strings at all. Okay? Then we've got our C chord. Our C chord looks like this. So we've got our first finger on the 1st fret here on the 2nd string, and then we jump over a string, put our second finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret there on our 5th string. Again, we're only playing the first 4 strings though. Okay, and we've also got an A minor chord. The A minor chord is really similar to the C chord. I'm not going to go into why at the moment because we're not really interested in that theory just here. But all we need to do is take our 3rd finger and put it underneath our 2nd finger there. So that's now on the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. Again, really we're only playing the 4 strings. And the only other chord we need throughout this song is the D chord, which can be a bit tricky, so it does need a little bit of practice. So we're going to put our second finger on the 2nd fret there on the 1st string, our first finger here on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and our 3rd finger on our 2nd string, 3rd fret. Again, 4 strings. So when you're playing these, just go through the individual strings and check that they all sound good. The E minor, the D. Okay, just listen out for any dead strings, like that, and just check your fingers if you're getting any sounds like that. You might find that a finger is touching a string below it, and that's muting it, that's blocking that string, so you get things like that. So just check carefully, make sure you're up on your fingertips. Remember, if you look at the tips of your fingers, you should see the grooves right on the fingertips there where the strings are touching your fingers. Okay, you don't want the grooves on the pads of your fingers along there. Next, let's look at the strum pattern. So the strumming pattern in this song is pretty interesting, and because this is a grade 1 piece, you may not have come across a strum pattern like this before. A lot of what you've done may just have been downstrokes all the time, like that. But what we're doing here is we're going to be playing upstrokes as well. Now, if we're doing this correctly, all our downstrokes should be on our beat, on our numbers. So if you're doing all downstrokes, you'd be playing like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now what you'll notice is that your hand is on its way up on the ands. So watch this carefully again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which means we're keeping a steady beat with our hand, a good pulse, which helps us keep our timing with the music. So when we're playing our and beats, we are catching on the way up. So you'd be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that is the strum pattern to this song. You will see in bar number 5 where you've got the strum pattern marked out. You'll see you've got arrows pointing down, which actually, a bit confusingly, is an upstroke. Okay? So when we're playing the rhythm throughout most of this song, we're playing this rhythm: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay. So the first bar we actually start on a G chord. So we'll get the G chord ready and we play that rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then an E minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we go to the C, and here we hit just on the beat, so we're hitting down beats. 1, 2 and then the G, 3 and 4 and then the A minor, the same rhythm as before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, really practice that rhythm, because if you can get your arm moving smoothly with it, you'll find that so much easier to play. So if I play that first line for you, this is bars 5, 6, 7 and 8 of the verse. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 there we go. That's the top line, the first 4 bars of the verse. And we play those 3 times in total, and on the 4th time there's just a slight change at the end, so we play this instead. G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, E minor, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, C, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and a D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We stay on the D for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that'll take us into the chorus. So practice that, get that rhythm perfect, because it's throughout this entire song really, and then when you think you've got that, take a look at the next section, which is the chorus up to the end of the song. Okay, so welcome to the chorus, the last part of the song. You're doing fantastically well to get this far. If you've got the strumming pattern down, most of this shouldn't be tricky for you at all, but there is one little bit in the middle we need to take a good look at. But before we do that, let's just go right to the beginning of the chorus on bar 22. So we're on a G chord, and it's the same strumming pattern as before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're on to a C and a D chord, this time just played on the beat, so played on 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do 2 on the C, 1 and 2 and 2 on a D, 3 and 4 and then those 2 bars just repeat. So we're back on a G chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the C and the D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that takes us to the slightly tricky bit we need to look at. So we're on an E minor chord and we play the top string open by itself, and then we follow that through with the next string before playing all 4 remaining strings. Now notice that the first note is dotted, which means that it's a little bit longer, so it's actually worth a beat and a half. So if we're counting it, we have to play 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we go to the C chord and we're playing on the 4th string downwards. So we're playing the 4th string, the 3rd string, and then the 1st and 2nd strings together. And that rhythm is before playing the D chord, again same strings. So altogether that sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, really slowly, play with me. Okay, gonna go really slow. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, Take your time with this one. Again, accuracy, really important to only hit the strings you're meant to be hitting. And again, it's a bit of a test of whether your chords are perfect, because we don't want to hear stuff like this, because that just doesn't sound good. Okay, so really careful with this one. After we've played that little picking section, we're just back on the G chord for a bar, and then the C and the D chords on the beat. So it just returns to this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 before we finish on a full G chord. And that is the entire song. So here it is in full again. Have a listen. This is up to speed with the backing track. So this has been Gotham Guitar Schools with our Rockschool Grade 1 Redemption song. Well done if you've managed to get through it all. There are some tricky little bits, so congratulations, and I will see you soon.
Redemption song.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption.